You can speak well if your tongue can deliver the message of your heart. A very good evening to all the worthy attendees. I, Ayush Srivastav, your host for today, hereby take the privilege of extending a warm welcome and cordial greetings to all the guests present here. The topic under consideration for the lucrative session is gender stereotype, a roadmap for the future. SEMS Welfare Foundation is recognized as a non-profit organization enlightening the pathways heading towards betterment in education, environment safety, women empowerment, and entrepreneurship, health and skills as well. They create awareness and opportunities to Satya, their agenda, all of its circumscribing their noble intentions to make lives better. Proceeding further, it's a time to know more about our guest of honor, who then may further enlighten us about our topic. I now convey the due respect and warm regards to Miss Rupal Devi ma'am. She had presented in many international conferences such as Fourth International Culture, Art and Literature Congress on the paper entitled History of Women Empowerment in India, organized by ANAS, Folkfor Institute, Baku, Ankara, Turkey in 2022. World Children Conference 3rd, Tashkent First International Congress on Modern Sciences, and many more. She is the publication member at Knowledge Teach, core team member of Women and Child Rights Cell, Knowledge Teach, team member at SEMS Welfare Foundation and campus ambassador at Catchery.in. She had done virtual internships on legal research presentations under Professor Dr. Yulia Haritonova, Moscow State Law University, Russia, Women and Child Rights Cell. She is interning under Advocate Sofia Bambari. She had a keen interest in social work and awareness. Well, that's indeed was a lot. And I hope there is a lot more to come. On that note of talking inspiration, I will now respectfully hand the charge over to ma'am.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you for your words. A very good morning, good evening to one and all present over here. As sir told, I am the keynote speaker of today's webinar. I, Rupal, welcome you all. Well, today's our session's topic is gender stereotype. We all are aware with this topic, but we know anyone analyzes on that topic. So, moving on to the further, I will moving on to for which we all are gathered here. I want to give you a brief roadmap or the some basic key points of today's webinar. That is gender, sex, stereotype. We will try to grab some basic key points and then we will move to further. So firstly, we will be discussing the basic key points and then everyone seems these two topics like this is gender and sex are the synonyms, but they are not the synonyms. We will learn about these topics and we will move on to the stereotype. And after knowing the stereotype, we will be grab on today's topic, gender stereotype. Its impacts, its effect on today's generation as well as on future, and how can we break this gender stereotype. So moving on to the next slide, we will first discuss on what is stereotype. Stereotype is a specific belief or assumption about individuals based solely on their membership in a group, regardless of individual characteristics. So we can say that it is a fixed, overgeneralized belief about particular group or class of people. By stereotyping, we infer that person has a whole range of characteristics and abilities that we assume all members of that group have. So as we summarize that one advantages of a stereotype is that it enables us to respond rapidly. We respond rapidly to situations because we have had a similar experience before. And one disadvantage of stereotype is that it makes us ignore between individuals. Therefore, we think things about people that might not true. We underestimate them or sometimes we overestimate them. So these are basic generalization and stereotype can be positive or negative. So moving on to the next slide, we will discuss the two basic keywords or the two basic key points which are used interchangeably. We use them interchangeably interchangeably. We use them in our day-to-day life, but we don't know the actual meaning, their difference. We use them as a synonym as they are the same thing, but there is a huge difference between both the words. Like sex refers to a set of biological attributes in humans and animals. It is primarily associated with physical and physiological features, including chromosomes, gene expression, hormone levels and function, and reproductive sexual anatomy. Sex is usually categorized as female or male, but there is a variation in the biological attributes that comprise sex and how those attributes are expressed. WHO, the World Health Organization, defines sex as the different biological and physiological characteristics of male and females, such as reproductive organs, chromosomes, hormones, gonads, etc. Whereas gender refers to the socially constructed roles, behaviors, expressions, and identities of girls, women, boys, men, and gender diverse people. It influences how people perceive themselves and each other, how they act and interact, and the distribution of power and resources in society. Gender identity is not confined to a binary girl, woman, boy, man, or nor is it static. It exists along a continuum and can change over time. There is a considerable diversity on how individuals and groups understand, experience, and express gender through the roles they take on, the expectations placed on them, relations with others, and the complex ways that gender is institutionalized in society. So we can say that gender refers to the socially constructed characteristics. It is man-made phenomenon. So of women and men, such as norms, roles, relationship of between groups of men and women. It varies from society to society and can be changed. The concept of gender include five basic elements, that is hierarchical, relational, historical, contextual, and institutional. While most people are born either male, female, they are taught appropriate norms and behaviors, including how they should interact with others of the same or opposite sex within households, within communities, within society, within our living areas, or etc. When individuals or groups do not fit established gender norms, they often face stigma. That why are they still reacting like that? If a woman is do some household chores only, and if she do a job outside of the home, so this is not really acceptable in the common society. So, some of the general differences between both the terms, that is sex and gender, like are refers to the biological difference between males and females, and sex is usually ascribed by the birth. Sex can be changed in case of transsexual people who are born with the sex characteristics of one sex, whereas gender identity of the other. Sex reassignment surgeries are performed. This includes a change of sex organs and administrations of hormones, whereas gender is a socially psychological phenomenon. So we had clear the sex and differences. So we will moving on. I was explaining the examples of the sex characteristics of women and the gender characteristics of women and men. So as I told that women can menstruate, but men cannot menstruate. So this is the sex characteristics. Men have testicles while women do not have. Women can lactate, but man cannot. This is the sex characteristics. We cannot judge them on their sex characteristics. Some examples of gender characteristics. In most countries, you have, and we had, everybody had seen that women earn significantly less than men. Women do more household than the men. So these are the some key points of the sex and gender. I hope you all had the clear now that there is a difference between the sex and gender. They both are not synonym. We should have to learn that there should be a difference and we should maintain that. So moving on to the next slide, that is gender stereotyping, on the which we all are gathered here. So, gender stereotyping in general, gender stereotyping involve how women and men are expected to act, speak, dress, conduct themselves based on their sex. These preconceived gender roles can limit women's capacity. Gender stereotyping is defined as the overgeneralization of characteristics, differences, and attributes of certain group based on their gender. Gender stereotypes create widely accepted biases about certain characteristics or traits and perpetuate the notion that each gender can associated behaviors are binary. If a man or woman acts differently from how their gender is expected to behave, there is a disconnect in the evaluator's mind. As our society moves to a broader construct of what gender means, individuals who are struck in this binary idea of gender have a difficult time wrapping their brains around individuals who do not fit into gender dichotomy or do not identify with any gender at all. Gender stereotyping can limit the development of the natural talents and abilities of girls and boys, women and men, as well as their educational and professional experiences and life opportunities in general. Stereotypes about women both result from and are the cause of deeply ingrained attitudes, values, norms, prejudices against women. They are used to justify and maintain the historical relations of power of men over women, as well as sexist attitudes that hold back the advancement of women. For example, if we're talking about the gender stereotyping, let's take an example that if a girl is expected to become a housewife and care for her family, then society might lose a natural talent of a physics. If a boy is valued only for his potential to make great firefighter, some social school or some school might lose a highly kindergarten teacher. Although gender norms exist for different sexes, women have been oppressed throughout history. We can see that women are deprived from the ancient history that can be taken of ancient India or of ancient world. Women are deprived still ancient times. So society still has a deeply ingrained sexist attitudes toward women in general and the role in the modern world. So moving on to the next slide, some common gender stereotypes for women. Girls like wearing pink clothes. We have seen that, oh, you are wearing pink. You are typical. If a boy is wearing a pink cloth, oh my God, what will we see? That the pink color is designed. It's like a girls had given that the trademark that oh, that pink cloth. Why? This is general typical gender stereotype. Women should be polite, accommodating, and nurturing. Women have the nature that they are fully polite, they are should be taking care of everyone, they had the such emotions. Women should not be too aggressive, outspoken, or smart. Housekeeping and childcare are women's responsibilities. This is such a typical gender stereotypicals. These are some common we can see in all around us. Women should educate their children and care for them in every way. Women should not be a part of the workplace. Career and professional advancement shouldn't be important for women. Women don't make great scientists. Moving on to the next slide, we will talk about some common gender stereotypes for men. First of all, I want to make one thing very clear that first you have think that if we are talking about gender stereotype, the first thing come in our mind that this is all related with the deprivedness or the oppressedness of females only, but not only women, basically men also are covering, also are grabbed under this gender stereotypical institution. So like some common examples of gender stereotype are like the race car should be only by boys. Boys will be drivers, boys will be pilot, boys will be have the sole right to drive. Men should be strong, aggressive, and bold. Men are providers and protectors. They are the head of their family and they have to provide any necessary items to their lives. Advanced professional qualifications should be important only for men. You have think that only the professional qualifications to be given to men. Why? Because they are the only income source of the family, and they should be earn more and more to provide the basic needs of to their family. So depriving women, men give the advanced professional qualification. Men don't have to participate in child care or housekeeping. It's the duty of women. Men always have the final say in choosing the place to live and the school for their children, or any decision of the family or of the anything will be given by only by man. He is the sole head of the family. Moving on to the next slide, we will talk taking about some instances of gender stereotype, that where we can see gender stereotype. Every country and ethnic group has its specific gender role expectations. Traditional gender roles can be very different from culture to culture, and in some cultures, women face dangerous discrimination and violence. Stereotypes of women are more common, but society often expects men to conform to stereotypical gender roles as well. Some research studies show that women don't like it when men show their true feelings. We have seen that men who are considered less masculine and more emotionally expressive might be judged as being poorly adjusted. So, as I already told, that not only men, in fact, women also, both are the gender stereotypical grab trap. They are both are in the trap. We have make the image that the women should be emotional, women should be polite, women should do take care only, and men should be bold, men should be masculine, and they should not express their feelings, express their true feeling. They should cannot be emotions. They never cry. If you have seen that if a boy is crying, people ignore them, people restrict them to cry. Are you a boy? Why are you crying? So these are some of the examples. Young, tender, emotional, and vulnerable boys are often teased, humiliated, and beaten up. If they are not living up to what society considers acceptable male standards, they might face bullying and name calling from a young age. As I already told, society do not accept that a male is showing acting like a female. Many cultures encourage men to be stoic soldiers, to lead in difficult situations, and never show emotions. Whether they are frightened, anxious, unhappy, some societies don't let them show their real character. It is hard to believe that there are places in this world where women don't have the right to vote, they don't have to compete in sports. It is equally hard to believe how in these modern times it is still considered unacceptable for men to cry or show emotion. As I already speak about that, man cannot cry. This is the as a woman is full of emotions, she can, but man cannot. Man is bold. There are million reasons why we should all fight for gender equality and gender stereotype. So moving on to the next slide, I will be discussing about how do gender stereotypes affect people. When people fail to live up to society's standards, they might feel forced to harm themselves emotionally or physically. If anything is not up to our thing, up to our emotions, up to our mind, that if we are expecting that this thing should be going this way only, and this is going from different way, so nobody accept that, and this may lead someone's physically mentally torture. So for example, a boy that is slightly built but wants to be muscular might hurt his body to bulk up, and or a girl might develop an eating disorder after feeling pressure from society to lose weight. You might have seen that boys oftenly go to gym or do more extra workout to make their body fit. Yes, your body should be fit, it should be diet, it should be properly nutritious, but there is a stamina of a body, and if we are doing expecting more from that stamina, this will might lose, this will might affect our body physically, mentally, or socially. And this as same in the girl side, like if a girl is gaining a little bit weight or more than little bit weight, so people start, their families, their relatives, or their neighborhoods friends, everyone asks her to lose weight. This is because there is a trend of zero figure, and if you are not a zero figure, or you are not so slim trim, you will not look attractive, and this is just gender stereotype. Traditional gender roles can lower your self acceptance. By believing in gender roles, men and women are equally vulnerable to experiencing low self acceptance. They often don't feel comfortable in their bodies. Lower your self esteem. Men and women who live in society with strong gender stereotypes suffer from low self-esteem. This also lead to health problem, as I already discussed, that this may lead to mental disorder, this may lead to eating disorder. To maintain a stereotypical image, people might starve themselves or push themselves too hard, putting their entire well-being at risk. Spark violence. Physical abilities are commonly considered crucial for the stereotypical male. Men might feel the need to be physically prove they are real men, which can sometimes lead to violence. To this, I want to share one incident which was occurred in nearby. Though I was not born at that time, but my mother oftenly told me that in my neighborhood, one of the men was drunken and badly beating her wife. Though it is a case of domestic violence, but I will relate it with the gender stereotype. He was beating her wife very badly, and since many hours, like mostly 2 hours, so no neighbors was going to restrict them, was convincing them to stop that violence. So in at last, after her wife was just going to unconscious, she was just going to die, my grandma go and asked her to stop that, and asked her that why are you beating so much her badly, why don't you stop that, she is going to unconscious. So that man, you can't expect that what that man spoke. He said that how can I stop myself? How can I stop myself? I am a typical man, and a typical man cannot stop herself itself without any restrictions or without any convincing. So this is known as gender stereotypical. Sometimes to prove themselves, to prove their masculinity, we have to prove themselves. So, moving on to the next slide, consequences of gender stereotyping when conformed to women. That is depression. Women might go in depression due to the torturing they feeling, or the inequality, or the anything that is she desires, but not able to get. Child marriage, though there is now the no prevalency, or we can say there is a decrease, but child marriage is still prevalent in our society. After the laws has enacted like Child Marriage Restraint Act 1929 in India, and many more acts in all over worldwide, child marriage is declining, but it has not been completely finished. People started marrying their girls very early because due to their some, like that, women are shown as a burden on their society, and leaving school early. As I already told, that women are asked to do household chores, they are their sole duty. No, education is not their sole duty, or education is not their sole right, as per the typical gender stereotype. So they left their school at early. Exposure to violence, as I already install your incidents on the beating up, it leads to domestic violence. Consequences of gender stereotyping when conforming to men. Consequences facing are engaging in physical violence to a much greater extent than girls, dying more frequently from unintentional injuries. This also, as per the I already told in the we discussed previously, that this leads to physical mental disorders, which often leads to harm, often leads to death. Being more prone to substance abuse and suicide. One thing I want to make here clear, that suicide is the very worst solution for any problem. We shouldn't go for suicide in any way, whether it's for any cause for gender stereotype, or from any other financial issues or anything, but we shouldn't go for suicide. We generally face problems, but we should make them, we should accept the challenges and started face them, and we will win. If we want, we will win. If we, generally in a 1 month or day or week, all face some issues, but If what happened if the next days you're happy, and if you last day committed suicide, how will you able to connect, able to feel that happiness on the next day? So suicide is the worst option. We shouldn't go for, we must not go for the suicide. This is my personal opinion, to not go for having a shorter life expectancy than women. Men, not only men, in fact, as per the data, there is the average living age of the women or men is declined to 60 years. These are due to this some issues in our society, issues in our environment. So moving on to the next slide, how does gender role stereotypes impact an individual? We expressed earlier on the impact of women and men. We will talk now and as an individually how they affect. The stereotypes of gender roles greatly impact every individual who goes through and chooses to fight against them. The pre-existing roles determined by societies for men and women give men the power to act in any way they want with women. People who belong to indigenous areas are mostly affected by these stereotypes. For example, young girls who belong to low income families are married off, as I told that the early marriages concept at a very young age, as the parents cannot take care of them. The opinion of those girls is never asked for. Instead, if they refuse to marry, they are brutally abused by their fathers, brothers. They do not have the right to give their opinions. They are depressed. They should be depressed as per the typical gender stereotypical. Another profound impact is that women, girls are considered personal properties, which they can use however they wish to, such as forcing for sexual relations with the consent without the consent of the girl or women, or doing forcing them to indulge in any such activity which they don't want to do. Such stereotypes also lead to horrible acts like domestic violence, suicide, acid attacks on women, etc. Gender stereotypes also impact men in many cases. Many boys, men are forced to pursue studies or careers as per the choice of their parents because they are used to be in the higher way where men should be higher at the women. So they are forced, even if they do not have the interest in the same, they had to do due to the gender stereotype. Men who do not have muscular bodies and not in slim in body shape are not considered visually attracted. So we had discussed that what is sex, what is gender, what is gender stereotype, what are its impacts, how is impacting on our individual, on a woman, on a man. So now the question arises, how can we fight gender stereotypes? So it is possible to challenge these traditional gender roles and help everyone who is affected. Regardless of your gender, everyone has a part to play in creating a gender equal world. Education. Education is the success of everything. So everyone, especially young boys and girls, needs to be educated on the topic of gender stereotypes and gender roles. Teachers can help students see the harmful effects of believing in these gender stereotypes. Support. Women should mentor other women and men should support other men. We all have unique experiences to share. If you think that someone is perpetuating gender stereotypes, talking openly to them about the reality of their harm might go a long way. Here, I want to add that women should also support our men, as we discussed in the previous slides, that if a man is disclosing their feelings, disclosing their emotions to a women, women do not like that. Women think that they should not disclose their feeling. They should be act like bold. If they are not feeling so whatever, but they should act like bold. But here women should accept, women should express her feelings, man should also express her feelings, and we should be supporting each other. Speaking up, everyone has a role to play in fighting gender bias and inequality. You can fight against gender roles through social media or by attending protests. As there is a craze, there is a trend, there is a increasing in the social media. So social media is the most powerful tool for anything, for any change we want to in our society. Speaking of when you witness inappropriate behavior is a simple, critical, and effective way of combating gender stereotypes. Gender equality can be both beautiful thing, leading to economic growth, improved freedom, strengthened families, advanced democracy, and worldwide peace. Gender equality is the key concept. Gender equality is the sole thing which maintains the peace in the society. It leads the society, it maintains the society in that manner which leads to an advanced democracy, economic growth, which everyone wants in their surrounding. So if we are want breaking stereotyping, as I already told that how can we fight? We can fight through education, we can fight through speaking up, we can fight through social media. So breaking stereotype, we have to break this mentality, we have to break these beliefs. So every parent has the best intentions, but sometimes it's possible to unknowingly promote stereotypes that can fence your girl in. To make sure she understands she can accomplish anything she wants in life, try these 6 easy steps. Well, here are some steps which we should use in our day-to-day life, which change the mentality or bring the modifications in the young one's child and lead to breaking the gender stereotype. Let toys be toys for girls and boys. Toys are toys, they are for play only. Do not segregate any toy that this is for girls, this is for boy. No, make sure your children get a wide variety of toys to play with. Like if we generally we what we say that the kitchen set and the doll is for girls only, and for that the truck drivers or truck or tractors or such video games etc are for boys only. But why? You have the great chef, there are many chefs who are boys, then why not girls be on the boys side as well? So we have to change our mentality, we have to change our beliefs. Make sure your children get a wide variety of toys to play with. You never know what they will gravitate towards or buy. Maybe your son will love the mini kitchen play set because he sees you every cooking every day and wants to be like you. On the other hand, your toddler daughter might like toy trucks because she sees them drive through your neighborhood and likes to create scenarios around the things she encounters in our everyday world. The point is that you won't know what your child might really be into unless she is given options and encouraged to seek out what interests her most. And if she prefers doll over dump trucks, so be it. There is nothing wrong with a girl who loves playing tea party while wearing a dress as long as it's her choice, not only the option presented her. Plan meaningful meetups. Ever expose your children, boys and girls, to women who have followed all sorts of paths in life. Your local fire department just hired a female firefighter. Stop by the station to say hi and thank for her service. The woman next door is a computer programmer. Fantastic. Encourage your children to ask her about her career. Women, even those with very successful careers in male dominated fields, are still too often seen by children only as the ones who fix the snacks for the weekend saucer game. Helping your little ones understand that the women in their lives have interests, passions, and careers outside the family life they see will expand your children's horizons and show them all the things women can be and do. And don't stop there. Look for kid friendly biographies, autobiographies that showcase the amazing and wide ranging achievements of girls and women all over the world. She may not have the opportunity to meet a Supreme Court judge or an astronaut for in her neighborhood, but that shouldn't keep her from meeting the phenomenal women in those roles through books. Watch, then talk. After watching a movie or TV show with your girl, set aside some time to talk about what you have just seen, making sure to discuss how different genders were portrayed. Was the smart girl portrayed as nerdy or not as cool as the others? Was the main character male or female? And if the was male, would the story have made sense if there was that character's gender? Explain that because TV shows and online videos have a short period to tell a story, They too often rely on visual cues, often stereotypes, to quickly communicate ideas about their characters. The more we help our girls to critically at the media and comes to understand the negative impact of gender stereotypes, the better equipped they will be to defy them from their lives. Think before you speak. We already know that we frequently listen this thought, but do we actually follow that? The way you speak about the women in your life has a huge impact on the way your girl views herself. Be honest. When you give compliments to your girlfriends, your sisters, or your female co-workers, are they mainly about the things they wear or how they look? Try your female coworkers broadening what you praise in other women by noting the smart comment they made in a meeting, her ability to stay calm under pressure, or even her thoughtfulness for calling you during a busy day. We need to do more to show girls that they are valued for. Of course, you think your girl is beautiful, and there is no reason to not tell her so sometimes, but she and all the women in your world need to know they are valued for so much more than just their looks. And the same goes for negative comments. When your daughter hears you talking negatively about the way you or another woman looks, she's learning to pick apart her looks and judge others based on appearances. She is looking to you as a role model in life. So if you want her to be kind to herself, you can show her how being good to yourself first. Remember that chores have no gender. When it comes to household responsibilities, families so often assign tasks in a very old fashioned way without even realizing it. If you have a girl and a boy, does your daughter typically take care of domestic things like washing utensils and setting the table, while your son is doing more physical tasks like mowing the lawn, climbing ladders to replace light bulbs? Put household responsibilities on a rotating schedule so that everyone gets to try their hand at everything. Says having mastered these skills will benefit both your girls and your boys, showing them that there is no much thing as men's work or women's work. It's all just work. We should do work. That is, gender do not decide our work. Gender do not decide our job. We should learn to do any sort of work. So these were the some of the breaking stereotyping ideas, and some more stereotyping ideas I will get to share with you. So with these ideas, I will show you that you can inspire from these, and you can opt them in your life, and help you can help our society to break the gender stereotypes. Like, take your eyes off, I'm not a showpiece. Like, men usually stare at the girls, but are they aliens? Why they stare at them? This is the gender stereotypical. Men generally ask that they are staring at looking at their dresses, they should wear proper dress. But why? We should have to change our mentality. Don't teach me dressing, teach him respect. We should have the right to what to wear, what we want, how we want to dress up, how we want to style. They should they should learn that respect is the key concept. We should respect our society members. My virtue is not located in my vagina. People, when the girl is being raped, though it is very, very bad concept. So if a girl is raped, there is a line in our society, there is a statement walking around in our society that she has been disrespected. Why? If she raped herself, if as a boy has raped her, so the respect has gone of that boy. He should be disrespected, not that girl. If you rape me, you don't win, because neither can you penetrate my heart nor my intellect. Stop calling me baby. As you saw that boyfriends are still calling their girlfriends as baby and whatever that. But why? Baby is called as the child, a little child, because they are not in the situation to act like as what is the situation. They do not have that sharp mind, that brain, that how to grasp, how to explore the situation. I say no to dowry, not because I can't afford it. It's because my daughter is not for sale. So I want to clear that there is a concept, there is a system, there is a of dowry system, which is highly prohibited in our society, but still prevalent due to our gender stereotype. Why we, as there is a institution of marriage. A marriage is a social institution for the procreation of society, procreation of children, procreation of family. If boy and girl both are marrying, both are uniting, then why it is necessary to give the dowry, give anything with the women to the male? If this is so, then men should also give some payment, something to the female side as well. A girl I am, not a toy to be sold. Won't stay quit if I will be brave and bold. Hence, this is for trafficking, and that there is, you can, if you research a lot, you will see that there is an increasing in the bride trafficking or a women trafficking. Enough of quickly suffering the violence. It's high time now to break the silence. As we all are exploring, as we all are encouraging, as we have the knowledge, we should share that, we should explore that, so that everyone comes to know and everyone can fight themselves for their. I am 12 years old. Give me books to read, not utensils to clean. As in my some of my previous slides, you have seen that there was a concept of child marriage. There was a concept of early school living, because women are thinking as they had to do household chores. So we shouldn't go for that. If a girl has an interest in the studies, if she wants to achieve her career, achieve her goal in her life, we should go for. If the boy can do, then why man cannot? Sorry, female cannot. I am a girl and I am great at video games. So as that we should not segregate the toys between the men and women, that dolls and kitchen sets for males, and the video games, trucks, tractors, and etc. for males. Just because I go out with boys doesn't mean I'm easy. I don't strive for fairer skin, but for a fairer system. Men and women are born equal and they are entitled to equal rights. This is the quote by a man. We have think that gender stereotype, as per the gender stereotype, that who will fight for gender stereotype? The female society, mostly the female society. And as per your thinking, like you are asking that who will the session will be conducted on gender stereotyping, that the keynote speaker must be a female, and the coincidentally I am a female. But that is not so true. We should change our beliefs that male and female both are genders and both should be go to break the gender stereotype. I can stay out as late as I want. When I say I'm fine, it means I am fine. I am 79. Every day I sit in my shop for 10 hours because I love to work, and age is only a number. You have seen that if people are getting old, then the young age generally told them, then sit aside here. You are old. You cannot do this. You cannot do that. You have do not this thinking. You cannot have brain to act like that. Just stop there. Real men don't get jealous of successful women. I smiled because I was being polite. It's not a yes. Hashtag हंसी मगर फंसी नहीं. You have seen a concept of लड़की हंसी तो फंसी. But what is that? This is, as you all know, that female are generally polite. But don't try to get a logic between what you are thinking, what you are saying. I'm not your Munni or Sheila. We don't hurt women. We respect them and we stand by them. Even the guy should be asked questions on returning late at home or before leaving the house, and so on. Good education, decent job, and high income don't be authorized me to demand dowry. Dear society, no price tags, please. Hence, these are some of the issues or some of the tags which we can use, from which we can inspire, and we should go for them, and we should take those ideas from them. Hence, with these words, very, very thank you for taking your time to be here. On the last, I will just say that find your identity, your true self, and live your mission. Your power is your radical self. Find it. Hence, thank you very much. And thank you very much for giving me such golden opportunity to be here. Thanks a lot.
That's indeed provided us a new perspective. I extend my heartfelt gratitude to Miss Rupal Devi ma'am for enkindling within us a sense of willingness to make things better. It's difficult to ever be thankful enough for the greatest gift of wisdom that we have been provided by you. If you have any additional questions, you can contact us by email or phone. We will be happy to provide additional support to you all.